My name is Lauren Palm and I work with Surrogate Solutions. I have been with the company for 8 years now. My journey started when I actually was a surrogate. I had twins that are now 8 years old through the company Surrogate Solutions, and in an effort to continue to want to help others and become their guide through the process that I had just been through, I started the Florida division of Surrogate Solutions and have continued with the company for the last 8 years and watched it grow and change. Well, we focus on both intended parents and surrogates. As far as where we are in the process, intended parents reach out to us after their doctor has already told them, you're not going to be able to carry a baby for yourself. It's time to consider surrogacy. And then that's when they reach out to us and we are able to provide them with a surrogate. We spend a lot of time finding and screening and evaluating potential surrogates so that we can find the right person to carry for them once they come to us. Surrogacy is when intended parents is what we call couples that are unable to carry their own baby. Couples reach out to us and we help find them a mother to grow the baby for them, and that is a surrogate. Surrogate means in place of. So the woman with the caring heart who has volunteered to become the surrogate and go through this for them is going to carry their baby. But it is their baby, and she knows that from the very beginning. I mean, it's their embryo that they have created with their genetic material, and she is merely doing some extreme babysitting and growing that into their child for them. When we are looking for the most desirable surrogate and screening our candidates, I look for someone that says to me, I want to help. I feel like my pregnancies were so easy and I know that I could do this for somebody else. And their heart is just in the right place. It's not the person that calls and says, I heard I can make some money by being pregnant. Because once they find out what they have to go through to get pregnant, that it's not worth it. I mean, to a certain degree, there's no amount of money that makes it worth what you're doing. I mean, you're giving an invaluable thing. It's a person. You've created a life and you've made a family, and you have to have the heart to be able to want to do that. The compensation is because it does take away from your life and your family, and your body is on hold for a year and it belongs basically to someone else, and you can't plan a family vacation that you might have planned, and you may have to take several days off work. I mean, you will, to go to different doctor's appointments and do shots and get screened and make sure that your body is responding to the medications just before you even get to the point where you can transfer. So there's a substantial commitment, physically as well as emotionally. Being pregnant is so easy for some people. It's like, didn't even know what happened, you can't even tell until they start showing, their hormones are good, and they just are very stable and easy. And so those are the women that usually apply, not the ones that have a hard time being pregnant. Because it's not supposed to be, you know, the person that's constantly getting sick and has a miserable pregnancy. Like, they're not gonna wanna be a surrogate, no matter how much you pay them. Like, it's not for them. It's for someone who just knows, like, intuitively, like, my body could do that. I know that I could help someone in that very special way. I kind of think of it like blood donation. I mean, I give blood every 8 weeks because I have universal blood, I have easy veins, and it's like nothing for me. It's so easy to give, 20 minutes every 2 months and know that by doing that, I'm able to save lives. I don't do it for the movie ticket. Unfortunately, the most important thing for prospective intended parents to consider is, are they financially capable of doing this? Of getting a surrogate, of going through the journey, as we call it, because it does take a while. It can get expensive. They just need to be prepared for that financially before, because the surrogate's worst fear is that they're gonna run out of money, and their worst fear is that she's gonna wanna keep the baby. So we do everything up front to make sure neither of these things are going to happen, and we set up a third-party escrow account for the intended parents to put the funds in that will be distributed to the surrogate throughout the pregnancy for being pregnant, and then to try to alleviate any concerns about that. But as far as intended parents being prepared for surrogacy, once they know that they can make the financial commitment, then emotionally being prepared to have someone else carry your baby is hard for some women. And most all clinics require that intended parents go through some psychological counseling so that they are aware of how to deal with those feelings. And then as an agency, I feel like I really come in, and at the same time I'm able to kind of nurture those fears and like let them know that the surrogate, she does want to give them this baby. She is totally getting pregnant just for them. She has no desire to keep their baby. If she wanted a baby, she could have one. Like, she has decided that she wants to do this for them, and try to just hold their hand through the whole process and let them know, like, you're not alone in going through this. Like, we're a team, and we're gonna be the team that gets you a baby. The cost of surrogacy is probably gonna be between $80,000 and $100,000, depending on where you are in your journey. Like, if you already have the embryos, you've already spent the money to create that, so it's gonna cost less. If you are calling me and you haven't even started yet, and you don't have eggs, you don't have embryos, you have nothing, then it's gonna be over $100,000. Which is hard for some people. But I've seen some people do some crazy things to have a baby, like selling your house to use the equity and moving in with your mother-in-law for a year so that you could financially afford it and get the baby. I mean, there are financing options available too, and a lot of people have to go that route. But sometimes, you know, when you want a baby, it just doesn't go away. You want a baby, like you'll do anything. Insurance is a tricky thing in the state of Florida, or everywhere now, I guess. But no, an independent parent's health insurance isn't gonna cover getting a surrogate. Some insurance will cover some parts of fertility. People who work for big banks seem to have the best insurance that covers fertility, from what I've found so far. But definitely it's something that intended parents want to look into, is what their insurance will cover when it comes to whether or not they're going to need an egg donor or a surrogate, or just for the process that they're going through themselves. As far as surrogates, we try to use their insurance whenever we can, as long as it doesn't have an exclusion for surrogacy that says they'll cover their pregnancy, but not if they're a surrogate, in which case we have to get them set up with a different policy, which open enrollment has made a challenge because now it's only once a year. But we will walk them through the entire process. Every situation is different, and we will get their situation figured out exactly as what works best for that match, that couple and that surrogate. When we see what their insurance situation is, we will fit their needs.